Well, hello and welcome to the Fin to the Woods podcast with me, Finian Hackett, and we've got a very special guest on this episode. She is a star of stage and screen with roles from Maria von Trapp to Melania Trump. She won a Tony Award for her performance in Gypsy and is about to make her Edinburgh Fringe debut this summer. Please welcome to the podcast, Laura Benanti. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on to this. I am thrilled. I'm not going to be too gushy, but I am a fan. I have to say, I've been a fan for a long time.
Thank you.
So,
I really appreciate it.
So I'm excited to chat to you because I just think you've had such a great career and so varied. It's just an interesting career. And I have to say, I told my little brother and sister that I was interviewing you, and they didn't know who you were. But then I said, it's the Vanilla Ice Cream Lady. And they knew because
Aww.
I used to force them to watch musical theatre clips when they were younger, and that was one of them. So they are very excited. They're being quiet in the other room because I said, do not make a noise, please.
How old are they?
They are 10 and 9.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My daughter is 8. Well, my older daughter's 8 and my little daughter is 3.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. But yeah, so they're excited too. So that's a good thing.
That's sweet.
Let's start at the very beginning, not
Let's
pun
do
intended, but
very good place to start.
Let's go. Indeed, it is. So let's go from what made you want to go into musical theatre? Who was it? Where was it? What kind of inspired that initial career that you wanted to eventually go into?
Well, my parents were Broadway performers.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was about a year and a half, they got divorced. I'm fine. And
Me too.
Mm-hmm. And my mom sort of stopped acting to raise me. She was a single mom for a little while. And then she remarried my dad, Sal. We moved to New Jersey. She stopped acting. But I think that like kernel of like my beginnings, I was like backstage at a Broadway show when I was, a year old.
What show
while my
was it?
parents were performing. Brigadoon.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so, I don't remember a time where I wanted to do anything else. And for me, it was always Stephen Sondheim. Like I really like musicals, but I love Sondheim.
Mm-hmm. More so than anyone else, would you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, easily. I love like the
amazing.
old classic. He's amazing. Like the dark. I remember Sky was the first song I ever learned to play and sing on the piano when I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
I was a dark child.
I was going to say.
I think you can relate.
I was going to say,
Somehow,
yes, I can.
How many times have you been called an old soul in your life?
Oh, all the time. I get it every day. Every day.
Yeah.
I get old woman. I get like middle-aged woman more than so than off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
well, I was born a middle-aged gay man. Yeah, I was born a 45-year-old gay man.
Yeah. They're very similar, I feel.
Very similar. So I think you and I are on a similar wavelength in terms of our old soulness. Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, I love kind of classic musicals, that era of Broadway where it's just like the scores were just amazing. And I think it's just something about it is always, that's been where my love has gone to as well, I think. More so than modern stuff. But it's still good, but just not quite as.
Yeah, I think for me, like, I do think in some ways the art form like peaked at its height, when musical theater music was popular music, where you would hear it on the radio. So now it's like musical theater's attempting to be the popular music. And sometimes I think it's really successful and other times it's not. And for me, when it's not, it's really bad.
I think it's quite soul destroying sometimes when it's not wonderful. And you're like going, oh.
Well, just because I feel like we always have to defend our love of musicals, or at least I feel that way. Especially in TV and film when I'm on sets or whatever, and people have this thing of like, oh, you do Broadway? And it's like this like mean girl question where I'm like, ew. And I think some of it is that like there's nothing better than a good musical, but there's truly nothing worse than a bad one.
Oh,
and so if you start with a bad one, you're off the whole genre. You're just like, I can never do that again.
It puts people off, especially if they're not theatre people and they see a show that they're like, this is shit. They're not going to go back.
But also, here's my thing. because I really don't like the term theater nerd. It really bothers me. And I was like, why does it bother me when we think of nerds as like thoughtful, smart people? And actually, that is what theater people are. Like,
Hmm.
in order to
Majority.
enjoy a musical, you have to sit there at attention
Hmm.
and like digest not only the music but the lyrics and the dancing and the scenes and allow yourself to like feel. So you have to
Yeah,
be
it's
sort of like
you've
an
got to.
emotionally
Yeah,
open person to do it.
yes, I agree, and I think most people are, most people are, some aren't,
Well,
some
of
aren't,
course.
but
Of course.
majority,
But I
majority.
do think that's why the genre I think is more niche. Well, you can only fit so many people in a theater. But it
True.
does take a very specific kind of person to
Hmm.
want to feel all those feelings.
Yeah, you've got to go, especially if it's a show which is quite heavily emotional. You've
Like
got to be
Sondheim.
open to that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Sondheim. Agree. It's
Yeah.
it's gonna
Yeah.
hit you in the feels. Do you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
gonna make you
Yeah.
feel all these things that you might not want to feel, but it makes you
Yes.
feel like that.
My least
Definitely.
favorite thing, I don't know why I've gotten on the tangent of people who don't like musicals, but when they're like, why do they start singing? I'm like, you watch superheroes.
Hmm.
Why are they flying in the air?
Exactly.
Like,
They don't question that.
yeah, the whole thing is a, a suspension of disbelief. That's what like art
Hmm.
and entertainment is.
Yes.
Really? Why do they start singing? Oh, yeah, yeah. Anyway,
Honestly. Honestly. No.
honestly,
So you have been
mhm.
performing recently, or you are this coming week with your mum, I believe. Talking of
I am. I
parents.
am. Also, I just want to say this says margarita, but it's zero proof.
Okay, that's fine.
I wanted you
We
to
do
know
not
that. I didn't want
promote
you to
that
think I'm
right
day
now. That's fine.
drinking. Yeah, yeah. I
Well,
didn't want you to think
to each their own. To each their
you're
own.
like, is she okay? Yes, I am performing with my mom at 54 Below next week, the
Hmm.
16th through the 19th
Wow,
at
that must
54
be
Below. Yeah.
amazing to be able to perform with her.
It is pretty incredible because as I mentioned, she stopped performing. And so when we first started doing our shows together, she had been retired for 36 years.
Wow,
Yeah. And
wow.
then she came back and it was like she never skipped a beat. It was kind of incredible, actually.
I love that though. I've
I
always
know.
been intrigued by 54 Below. I've never been. I've never been to 54
Oh,
Below, but it looks like such an amazing venue to perform at because it's so intimate. It must be
yes.
great.
Yeah, it's very like jazz clubby. It feels like a
Hmm.
true supper club and it's beautiful. It's warm on the end, like the reds and the golds, and the food
Mm.
is very good. The
Oh,
wait
okay.
staff is so kind. It's a tiny little stage. People are directly at your feet. Um, it's really great. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it looks great. I will visit there one
Yeah.
day. I will.
Yes, you have to.
I have to. I've been to New York, but I just never got to 54 Below. Not yet.
Oh my gosh, you have to.
Going back to, well, your kind of not training, because you didn't really necessarily do a lot of training, because you kind of went straight from high school to Broadway. We'll get to that in a second. However, at high school, and this did make me laugh when you shared this photo, you played Dolly Levi in
Oh,
Hello Dolly.
I sure
I
did.
mean, how old were you? 16 when you played
I
that
was
part?
16. I was
Wow,
16.
just the right age.
Yes, I also played Golda in Into the Woods when I was, oh no, not Into the Woods, Fiddler on the Roof when I was
Wow.
14.
Oh, even
So,
younger. Wow.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I've always been a bit of an old soul.
Amazing parts to play, though, even though you are maybe a little bit too young for them at the time, but
But
still
that's
great
what high
parts.
school theater is. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
It's like
Uh
that's
huh.
all it is. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I was pretty shocked that as a freshman in high school, I was cast as the mom to all of the
Yeah.
senior girls.
Did you take offence or
Um,
not?
yes, but
I would have
I've
done
always
too.
I've always looked like this though. Like I have looked this age since I was born. I mean, if you look at
Wow.
pictures of me, I'm gonna have Julia send you my headshot from when I was 18 years old.
Please do.
I
Please
look
do.
this age. I look older, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I
It's
mean, but
crazy.
that does well for lots of people. Look at Angela Lansbury. She always looks
Yes.
slightly older, and look at her
Yep.
career. So
Yep.
it does work.
She's my template. She's the kind of career I want to have.
And that is a good career to follow. And for that role in Hello Dolly, you won the first ever Paper Mill Playhouse Rising Star Award.
So Paper Mill Playhouse is a equity professional theater in New Jersey. And they have something called the Paper Mill Playhouse Rising Star Award, which is like the Tony Awards for New Jersey high schools.
I see.
And the very first year, I won for playing this part, which is hilarious to me. Because also the show was terrible. It
No,
was
was it?
terrible. It was just like our bad high school band, like like playing way too slow. And then like myself and two other people wanted to be there. Everybody else I had blackmailed into being in the ensemble.
Just so you could play
And
Dolly.
yes, I was
Yeah.
like, listen, I know what you were doing in the woods. I'll tell your mom, or you could
You can
be
be in the
in before the
ensemble.
parade passes by. It's up
Exactly.
to
Your
you.
choice.
Yeah, grounding or a musical. Um, so yeah, and then I cannot believe they were like, let's give this girl an award. But from there, they put me in a play, like a straight play there, called Jane Eyre, not the musical, the straight play version. And then I did Man of La Mancha there, and I got my equity card.
Oh,
And then
oh,
they
okay.
recommended me for the Broadway revival of The Sound of Music. They recommended me for Liesel because I was 17.
I
And I
see.
went in and auditioned for Liesel, and instead they cast me as the understudy to Maria, which is, the Julie Andrews part.
Crazy.
And I know. So I went to NYU for 2 weeks,
Is
left,
that it?
and then, yeah, and then I left to do this show and, thinking, okay, once the show is over, I'll go back.
Hmm.
And then the show ended and I was going to go back, and then I got another job, and then it just kept happening that way. And I was like, well, let me just keep doing this until it runs out, and then I'll go back to college.
And it never really did run out, did it? Really?
There's still time.
There's still
There's still
time. You
time.
could always go back.
I could always go back.
Always. I mean, I think to make your Broadway debut, doing that role, I mean, understudying and then eventually taking over, but just doing that at, what, 18,
18.
is just insane. I
It
think
was
it's
crazy.
just crazy.
I can't believe they
Yeah.
did it. Like I look
No,
back
and I
and I'm
mean,
like,
you were
yeah,
great. I've seen the clips of it, but still, to
thank you.
take a risk on someone so early on in their career
Yes.
is, I don't know if that would happen nowadays, to be honest.
I don't think it would. I
No.
feel like I got in at the very tail end of old school Broadway. I feel like
Hmm.
I was right before the door got shut a little, where it was the producers were not big corporations, they were people, they were
Hmm.
individual producers. Actually, the gentleman who cast me in that, they own 54 Below. So yeah, so Richard Frankel and Jack Vertel and Tom
Oh,
Vertel and
wow.
Steve Baruch and all of these people
Hmm.
who took a chance on me, and they really did. And they
Big
said,
time.
like, we recognize we're taking a chance on her. And Richard Frankel even said to my mom, because I was leaving NYU, and she was like, what happens if like she fails? And he was like, I won't let that happen. And
Yeah, I mean, it was
that makes me
that.
want to
It is a
cry.
such a big risk to take, but
Yeah.
also how amazing for you that someone was willing to take that risk for you. Like that, it's amazing.
Yes, I'm so lucky. I don't think I realized how lucky I was because it was just my
Mm.
life,
Yeah.
and it isn't until now when I look back and go, oh my God, I'm so lucky. And
Mm.
so many people had a hand in it. Like my doing the silly show at my high school, then Paper Mill Playhouse came, and then Paper Mill Playhouse recommended me, for this job, and these producers took a chance on me, and then they did it again. And I just feel like I've really been held in so many ways. And believe me, things have not always been perfect. Plenty of not great things have happened, but like
Hmm.
I'm just really lucky. And I think a lot of this business is that, frankly, because I know so many talented people. There's so many talented people in this world.
Yeah. There's almost too many because you can never give
They,
everyone those
no,
opportunities that you want to give them. It's really
no,
difficult.
yes. And some people get them and some people don't. And
Hmm.
it's not fair.
No, it's really not. I mean, I have friends who from drama school and stuff who are so ridiculously talented, but just are struggling because there's so
Hmm.
many people vying for these jobs,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
there's only ever one job at the end of the day, and it's hard to see people go through that. And you're
Yeah,
right, it is luck, it's talent, but it is luck a lot of the time, or where you are in the right place, the right time, all of that.
exactly. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really truly believe that. And I never take that for granted.
Hmm.
I think sometimes, and I'm talking about people who are more successful than me, but I think sometimes when someone reaches a certain level of success, they really do begin to feel like they did it all themselves. And that's just not how it works.
It's not true. That's
It's not
eventually,
true.
isn't it true
It's
at
not
all?
true.
So when you played Maria, you played opposite Richard Chamberlain, who passed away fairly recently. Um,
Yeah.
he was a lot older than you. When you look at that age gap, he was in his 60s and you were, what, 18, 19?
He was older than his 60s, I'm sure.
Yeah, he looked it anyway. But yeah, it was a big age gap. How did you feel about that at the time? Obviously, I mean, I'm sure he seems like a very lovely man, but
He was so
yeah.
lovely. He was so lovely. And his husband was so lovely. And I
Hmm.
was just thrilled. But again, it was a different time. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
like the real Maria and the real Captain Von Trapp had like a 30-year age difference. It was like a pretty major age
Yeah.
difference.
Hmm.
So I think that we all sort of just went, well, it's like kind of what it was, except it was way more. Um, so yeah, at the time it just felt like theater. You know what I mean? Where
Hmm.
it's like, okay, well, this is, the last person I played opposite was like in my high school. And I
Yeah,
think
quite a big jump. Yeah.
he was like 16 playing 65. So I was a little bit like, what is age? That you just
What's
like do
going
it.
on?
Yeah, well, you just do it. And he was so lovely and you could see why someone would fall in love with him. And
Hmm.
but yeah, I look back and I'm like, wow, the late 90s were a very different
Very different
time.
time.
They were
Hmm.
closer to the 50s than now. Like not actually numerically, but I feel like
Hmm.
vibes. You know
I
what I
see.
mean?
Yes, I know what you
It
mean.
it was very pre Me Too, pre Times Up. Not that
Yeah.
I'm not saying Richard, any of that, but just our acceptance of like a teenager being with an older man. We were like, that's
Yes.
fine. We're fine with
Yeah, I
that.
feel like it'd be questioned more now.
It would never happen now.
No, no. But it did. It did
It
happen. It
did.
was of the time, and
Yeah.
yeah, what a part to start Broadway off with for you.
Yeah.
So then after Sound of Music, your first role
Yeah.
out of that was Swing,
Yeah.
which you did, and I mean that duet with the trombone for Cry Me a River is genius. It's so
It's pretty
clever.
great. It's really
It's
clever.
so brilliant. And
Yeah.
listeners, if you've not seen it, go and watch it. It's worth it. It's so good. It's one of my favourite things. It's just,
Me
I
too.
think, just a clever way of staging a song like that and making it so unique as well. What a
Yeah.
brilliant way to stage it. But also that show gave you your first Tony nomination. And I mean, you were what, 20 around that age,
No,
20, 21?
I was 19.
Wow,
19 or maybe I would,
crazy.
yeah, because I turned 20.
That is insane. And your
Yeah.
first Tony nomination at that age, how does
Yeah.
that feel? How does that when you first found out, how do you react to a thing like that?
Can I tell you, I felt embarrassed because I felt like I
Really?
didn't deserve it.
Wow, okay.
I went to a really interesting place because an actress named Amy Spanger, she was in Kiss Me
Mm,
Kate, and she had been nominated for all the other things. She had been
mm-hmm.
nominated for like Outer Critics Circle and Drama Desk, and she was not nominated for a Tony Award.
Oh, I
And
see.
instead, I hadn't been nominated for any of those other things. So I sort of came out of nowhere and like I didn't speak, I didn't have any lines. I just
Hmm.
sang and I danced and I felt like a fraud. It was a
Oh,
very strange, and I felt like, oh, people think I don't deserve it. I really started to go to like, people don't like me.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was really, and like, if you watch the broadcast, our
Hmm.
show performs right before our nomination, like our award was given. So both
Hmm.
myself and Anne Hampton Calloway, who was also nominated, we were standing in the wings, still in our costumes, and I look mortified. I like won't look. I look insane.
That's crazy to me.
I know, I know. I didn't believe it at first. My mom called me because it was landlines, we didn't have cell
Hmm.
phones. And she was
Hmm.
like, you got nominated for a Tony. And I was like, Mom, no, I didn't. It was so early in the morning. I was like, no, Mom, that's impossible. And I like hung up on her. And then she called me 15 minutes later and she was like, no, honey, you did. Like I checked. And I was like, you're wrong. And then other people started calling me. It was crazy.
I mean, it just kind of, it must feel a bit out of body experience, especially that for if you weren't expecting it as well. I don't think you ever necessarily do expect it, but especially first
No.
time round, it must be just like,
And I came out
what's
of
happening?
nowhere. I truly came out of nowhere. There was no conversation. Like, there was no, like, who will win, who, like, none of that. It was
Wow,
just
okay.
like, I wasn't nominated for anything else. And then all
And
of a
then
sudden,
there you are.
and I'm so grateful. I don't want to sound ungrateful. I had this like inferiority complex or this
Hmm.
imposter syndrome where I was like, I don't deserve to be here.
Has that changed, or is it still something that kind of sits there, or has sat there the
About
other
about
times?
that particular, no, that was the only time that for where I was like, I don't like I'm not good enough. Like I don't deserve to be here.
And well, I'm
Um,
glad you don't feel like that now. I'm glad that didn't carry on. I am
no, it
glad
didn't.
about that.
It didn't. I think I worked hard enough subsequently that I was like, yeah,
Hmm.
I do deserve to be here. I have worked
Yeah,
really hard. But I don't
yeah,
know. I think
as
I
you
just
should.
felt like, yeah, it's an interesting response though to something so incredible happening. It was my lifelong dream to be nominated for a
Crazy.
Tony Award.
But
My
that's probably
lifelong
why
dream.
you felt that way. It's probably because it'd been your dream and then you'd got that dream before you'd turned 20. Do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah. Not to sound
baffling.
ungrateful. I mean, I'm so grateful.
No,
I just was like, didn't know how to process it.
no. And that is absolutely fair. I wouldn't know how to feel about that either.
Right.
It's just, how do you react to that? You can't kind of prep yourself, can you?
And I guess better
Particularly.
that than like, oh yeah, exactly.
I'm
Like they make, you
so
know what I
good.
mean? Yeah, I guess I'd rather be that way.
Yeah. After you did Swing, I want to talk about now Encores, because this has been quite important in your
Yes.
career. Obviously, you
Yes.
did Wonderful Town with Donna Murphy, and
Yeah.
then it's where Gypsy started out for you, Most Happy Fella as well. Encores is such, I love it. I love it as a concept, and
Yeah.
I'm always quite sad we don't have something similar over here in the UK. I think it would be a brilliant thing to have. But what do you love most about Encores? Because it just seems like such a brilliant way to do these lesser known and lesser produced shows.
Yeah, I mean that was its inception, was these
Hmm.
lesser known, lesser produced shows. And, they were some of them were so creaky. And you were like, "Ooh, okay, I see why that was
I
kept in a
see
box for
why.
a
Yes.
while, and we've done it." And but more and more, it's become sort of known and beloved shows.
Hmm.
Um, and Gypsy was certainly a part of that as well.
Yes.
Um, you know, and then of course they did Into the Woods, and now it's I think becoming more almost like a breeding ground for revivals
Yes, a little
on
bit,
Broadway.
especially in recent years. Yeah.
Yeah, but before that, like Wonderful Town really was they like took it out and dusted it off. Um, the first one that I did with Donna.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I really love, because I think sometimes people treat theater as if it's just gonna like go out of style or like we just have to eventually put all these old shows in a box. But like we don't do that with symphonies. We don't do
No,
that with operas. Those
no.
that material has been around for a very, very long time. And so for me, I don't think just because something isn't popular music anymore doesn't mean we just like throw it in the trash.
I
Musical
totally
theater is
agree.
its own art form.
Hmm.
Um, and so I'm appreciative to encores because they continue on that tradition of like more traditional musicals, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Is there any shows you would like to see Encores do? Some lesser produced stuff. Is there anything that comes to mind?
Not really. I mean, I just want them to do every Sondheim ever done,
I mean, fair enough. Agreed. Yes,
obviously.
obviously.
Um, but yeah, how about you? Is there anything you can think of that you'd like them
Oh,
to do?
well, funnily enough, this coming season they're doing High Spirits, which is the
Yeah.
musical version of Blithe Spirit. I worked on it when I was at uni last year. It was like the second or third production that had ever been done in the UK. And I remember thinking at the time, this would be such a good encore show. Lo and behold, they're doing it this season. So that was on my list of shows that I would have loved to see them do.
That's so
Also,
funny.
Baby, the 1980s musical.
My
I
dad
love
was in
that.
that. So Marty
Was he?
Vidnovic, is my dad, the guy who sings
Uh-huh.
"Baby, Baby, Baby." That's my dad.
Mind blown. That's
Yeah,
crazy. I love
yeah,
that score. I think
yeah,
I mean, it's probably quite dated in the way it's written. Obviously, it was written in the 80s and about
yeah,
that time. But I mean,
yeah.
it would make quite a good piece to bring back and maybe set it still in the 80s because it'd be quite a good kind
Yes,
of. Don't want to say period piece because I don't think an 80s
it
piece is a
is.
period piece, but
It is.
let's get
Also,
in
80s
there.
clothes or vintage clothes.
That's true. Yeah, we'll
It's
call it a
deeply
period piece.
upsetting. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's deeply
But yeah,
upsetting.
so that show I would like to see them do as well. But maybe one day, maybe one day. We mentioned Into the Woods, obviously a
Yes.
show that you would then go on to again be Tony nominated for playing Cinderella. You've spoken quite openly about the injuries you've received whilst on the
Yeah.
show and how they kind of continue to plague you for years to come and the
Yeah.
kind of press around it and stuff. Has it hindered your view of that time in your life and that show, or do you still
Not the
have
show.
positive? Not the show.
Never the show. The show will
Okay.
be my favorite show for the rest of my life. I love it so much.
Hmm.
Certainly, it colored my experience.
I'm sure it did. Yeah.
And that was just not a great time in my life.
Hmm.
That I was, so young. I was 21. Um, and I was like, didn't know how to be a person, really. I think I had been working so long professionally, but not around people my own age. People my own age were in university mostly, or in a different workforce. And so everyone I was surrounded by was grown-ups. And so I was really lonely. I didn't really have
Hmm.
that many friends. And so I didn't like really learn what I liked to do. I didn't have hobbies. I just like was a worker bee. That was my
Hmm.
identity was I go
Yeah.
to work and I pretend to be other people. And so I like don't love a lot of my behavior in that time period either. Like I feel like I was, as many 21-year-olds are not their best selves. I was not
Yes.
my best self at the time. And I also put myself into a dangerous situation by doing this pratfall.
Hmm.
And then my uncle, who I loved so much, my uncle Bob, who was also an incredible drag queen, he died right around the same time, very, very
Okay.
suddenly. So it was just a bad time in my
Just a
life.
bad time. Yeah.
It was really rough. And then, I had neck surgery, and then the guy who did it didn't really fix me. He made me worse. But then he gaslit me for like 7 years, and it was just bad. It was really brutal. And then I finally 7 years later had a second surgery, which kind of saved my life.
Wow.
But I'll be in pain every single day for the rest of my life.
What from?
So
Is it still bad or is it better than it
yeah,
was? Wow.
no, it's better than it was, and I'm really
But
lucky that I can walk. But I'm in pain every single day. There's a lot of things I can't do, and I'm not trying to complain. It's more
no,
a
but you did.
cautionary
You had
tale.
injuries, of course. Yeah. I mean, you're
Yeah,
allowed to. Yeah.
yeah. It makes me sad because I love that show so much, and
Hmm.
I just wish I had been a grown up. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
but
mean?
you were only 21, as you
I was
said. I mean,
21.
I'm 22, and
Yeah.
the amount of stuff by this age that you'd already done in your life, it would be so intense. You've got so many emotions, and you've got to also
Yeah.
grow up as a person and move away from home
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. It's tough, and I think
Yeah.
with that going on, as well as everything injury wise for yourself, it would have been a tough time. So I can understand that 100%.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm glad the show hasn't been completely spoiled for you as a show because it is wonderful.
It's the
It's my
best show
favourite.
ever. Me
I mean,
too. It's my favorite
hence
too.
why I'm called Fin to the Woods. I mean, come on.
Obviously. I know.
There
That's
is
where I was
a
like,
reason.
yes,
Oh,
kindred
yes, I will
spirits.
do the podcast. Yes.
Yes.
Um, after Into the Woods, I found this out online. You can tell me if it's true or not.
Okay.
Did you do the workshop for curtains?
Yes.
Because I found it with Megan Hilty and a few other
Yes.
people. I
Yes.
didn't tell me more because I love curtains as a show, and obviously you wouldn't go on to do the Broadway production, but still, I'm
Yeah.
intrigued about it.
I loved it. I loved doing that workshop. I was so sad that I
Hmm.
couldn't do it for real.
Hmm.
But guess I was doing something else. I can't remember what. But it was, David Hyde Pierce is just like an angel among
Hmm.
us.
Yes.
It was such a fun experience. It really was.
Yeah, it's such a fun show, and
Yeah.
it's one that I mean, again, when I was at drama school, it's another one that came up while I was there, which is, I just love it. I think it's so, I'd love it. That could come back. I'd like to see that
Yeah.
come back to
I
Broadway.
agree. Yeah, I
It's been
totally
too
agree.
long,
It's so
too long.
sweet. No, I agree.
It's lovely. And who doesn't love a murder mystery? I mean, come on.
Exactly.
I love it.
Me too.
Let's talk about Gypsy. So this was,
Yes.
I imagine, quite was it a nerve-wracking task thinking that you were going to be in a show that is so iconic and a part that is also so iconic? I imagine that with also Patti LuPone
Yes.
and other brilliant people
Yes.
involved, I imagine the pressure was quite high.
Yes. It had been like one of my dream parts. I've been really lucky that I've gotten to play so many of my dream parts, and that
Hmm.
certainly was one of them. Um, I have done so many revivals that I think I had gotten used to the notion of having to put anyone else's performance out of my own mind
I
in
see.
order to do something different, you know.
Hmm.
I'd done primarily revivals at that point,
Yeah,
except for
yeah.
Swing. So I really understood the art of approaching it as if it's an entirely new play.
I see. And kind of
Um,
forgetting a little bit about the past performances in
yeah.
the role.
And
Yeah.
I'd never seen it. I'd never seen it.
I was about to ask, did you see the
Yeah.
revival prior? No.
No, I'd never seen the show at all. So that was helpful.
Hmm.
But Patty, I was really nervous about working with Patty, and I was nervous about working with Arthur Lawrence, who wrote it and
Yeah,
directed our show.
yeah. Was he
We
quite a
had,
tough man? Because I
mhm,
mean, yeah, I've heard stories, I've read things as well, but I
yeah.
mean, he got a good production out of it at the end. But yeah, I
I
imagine he
mean,
was a hard
he
worker.
was very hard on me for the first 2 weeks. In fact, I quit. And because, yeah, I was like, I can't do this anymore. You're so mean to me. And then Patty talked to him and he called me and he was like, I think I thought I needed to break you down. And I
I
was like,
see.
you don't. I need you to build me
No,
up. I'm very sensitive. I am not a person who needs to be taken down a peg. I need you to
no.
raise my pegs.
Yes.
Um, and from then on, we had a beautiful relationship, and he really helped me get rid of some like acting traps I had fallen into, some things that had like worked for me, like some tricks that worked for me,
Hmm.
but kept me from being as truthful as I could be. So
I
working
see.
with him and working with Patty, working with Boyd, it made me a better actor. That is really the moment where I was like, felt like an actor.
Yeah, because there are some big old. I mean, as a character arc, Louise goes
Yes.
from being this shy, timid girl to being. I mean, that
Yes.
end scene between you
Oh,
and Patty. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, everyone always says that clip is just like creme de la creme. I know bootlegs are bad, but thank God we have that clip. But
Oh,
it's
I love
just.
bootlegs.
Oh, good.
I'm a
I'm
big
glad.
bootleg person. I'm like, how else is anybody going to see anything?
Exactly. And also I imagine for you, I mean, I don't know how often you like to watch yourself, but it must be quite nice every now and again to. Do you not ever watch bits back?
I don't like to listen to myself, so I don't listen to any
Oh,
recordings or anything,
I,
but
I don't either, but
oh, it's so brutal. Um, but I normally don't I don't like watching myself on TV, but
no, I get that.
for some reason, maybe because the clips are so far away and they're so bad that like halfway through there's like a man's head.
Or
Like I
someone
don't
coughing, yeah.
exactly like I don't it doesn't bother me as much. Somebody did send me that clip the other day, and I was like,
Hmm.
wow, we really chewed that up.
Big
We
time.
really did.
I mean, the three of you won Tonys, you, Boyd,
Yeah,
Patty, which
yeah,
is kind of unheard of for the three leads of any musical to walk
yeah,
away with a Tony each. And also a Drama Desk Award as well, I believe. I think you all
yeah,
won those as
yeah.
well.
And the Outer Critics too.
That
All of
is
them.
crazy. That is a sweep. That is a sweep.
Yeah,
But
it was nice.
to when you see that clip, you go, "Oh, I see why." Do you know what I mean? Like it's so nice. I
Thank you.
think you kind of, especially for people who weren't able to see it or were too
Yeah,
young or whatever, it's
yeah.
nice to be able to see those clips and see those
Yes.
performances and go,
Yes.
oh, it's just nice. It's a nice bit of history, I think, of
It's like
Broadway.
I love watching clips of Patty and Cheetah and Bernadette
Hmm.
and like I just I'm grateful that we have those videos.
Yeah, of course. Did winning the Tony change your career trajectory in any way at all, or did anything change from winning that Tony for you and your career?
I don't honestly know. Probably. I mean, I
Hmm.
think it gave me like a stamp of approval. But certainly in like Hollywood, they don't give a shit. You know
No.
what I mean? Like right after I won the Tony, I went to LA for these
Hmm.
like, meetings with people thinking like, "Oh, this is going to be great." And one woman was like, "You live in New York. Do you do plays?" And I was like, "I want to kill myself. I just want a Tony Award." One
I literally
person
have a
didn't
Tony.
know what a Tony Award was. Like
Wow.
it's not what I thought it was going to be. Like when I was younger, I think because all of
Hmm.
the movies I watched were like 1940s movie musicals, I thought
Hmm.
like you go to Broadway, you take the town by storm, and then world domination.
Yes.
I didn't
Oscar,
realize it
everything.
was like exactly. I didn't realize it was like go to Broadway, nobody cares. And like in a way that's fine. That was fine for me because I never dreamed of being a movie star. I dreamed of being a Broadway star. I don't think it was like I think it did some really nice things for me, but it certainly wasn't like a get out of jail free card. You know
I
what I mean?
see. Yes, yeah, yeah. Have you been able to see the new revival or anything on Broadway this season?
No, I haven't seen anything. I saw maybe Happy Ending because my friend Michael Arden directed it. We've been friends for,
Lovely.
over 20 years. Oh my God, literally over 20 years. That's insane. Well, like 23 years or something. And that is it. I'm embarrassed to say. Tonight, I'm actually going to see John Proctor as the villain.
Oh, nice. I've
And
heard
I'm
good
really
things.
excited about that. But I haven't seen Sunset Boulevard. I haven't seen Gypsy. I haven't seen The Outsiders. I
I
haven't
mean,
seen,
busy lives, do you know what I mean? Like, if you can't go, you
it's
can't go.
children. It's my
Hmm.
kids too. We don't live in the
Hmm.
city anymore. We live in New Jersey. I have a
Hmm.
3-year-old and an 8-year-old. So if I'm working all day, it's hard for me to be like, Mommy's going to the theater now, children. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, bitch, make me my food.
Honestly, just
So
stay at home.
yeah, what's wrong with you? So yeah, I just haven't seen what I want to see for sure.
But maybe in a few months' time, maybe you will get to see some of them. Hopefully,
Maybe.
hopefully.
I
Anyway,
hope so.
after Gypsy, I want to talk about Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown. I
Yes.
mean, a show that this score is one of my favourites. I think there's just something about it that is just so endearing, and it's just the songs are so catchy, and I just think it's a
Yeah.
brilliant score. And Model Behaviour as a song is just, I just, as a patter song, it is just fantastic. And I imagine as a Sondheim fan, and obviously well known for his songs such as that,
Yes.
it must have been a joy to be able to do a song like that.
Yeah. I mean, that
Hmm.
is like my favorite. I remember when I came in and they were like really like this is a really tricky song. I was like, I've got it.
I've
I
had practice.
this is my jam. So I feel so lucky that I got to sing that song. It is
Hmm.
so brilliantly written. It is so funny. It is so
Agreed.
nuanced and also totally bangs you over the head with comedy. It's like I just think David Yazbek is a genius, and I wish we'd
Hmm.
had more time to really work on the musical. I wish that we'd had like another week of previews because
Do you not have an out of town tryout or anything?
no, we
Interesting.
didn't. We could have used one.
Yeah.
Because we really found the show. We really found it. Um, I loved that show. I have only wonderful memories of that show. And again, I reunited with Patty.
And a great cast. I mean, just in general, that cast is just stacked. It's just
Yeah.
it's lovely and such. But again, there is bootlegs. There's the cast recording,
Yeah.
and it still does live on, which is always a great
Yeah.
thing.
Exactly. I'd
Um,
like to see that show revived. They did it in London.
they did do it in London, not too long ago either, really.
Yeah.
And I think there is, yeah, it was a quite a different take on it. I think
Yeah.
visually and the way it
Yeah.
was done. But yeah, so I don't know, maybe if I think London audiences and London theatres are sometimes more willing to do a show and look at it from another angle sometimes. I
Yeah.
think
I
there's a bit
agree.
more risk taking, but I
Yeah.
think it's because it's cheaper to do shows
I was
in
just
London
gonna
than it
say
is on
that. It's
Broadway. Yeah.
so expensive. Anything,
Hmm.
like everything on Broadway is so expensive.
It's just
It's
crazy. And even
crazy.
when you
I
look
know.
at like when these productions end up kind of making back the money that was invested, and it's just multi-millions. It is insane.
I know.
And it just, it kind of blows my mind. But yeah,
me too.
Honestly. Let's talk as well. She Loves Me. I mean, this revival was, again, I mean, just visually gorgeous. That
gorgeous.
Set, those costumes.
I know.
It's just amazing. I mean, you have spoken about one of your cast members, Zachary Levi, and
I sure have.
Your feelings about him. And I have to say, it is refreshing to hear a Broadway star or anybody speak that openly about one of their fellow cast members.
Man. Yeah. I tell that to my mother. My mother was so mad at me. She was like, did you have to use the F word?
Well,
I was like, honestly,
yes, I think you did.
Sometimes
it was justified in that situation. Amalia as a part is, again, been played by some fantastic people, Barbara Cook, and just some brilliant stars over the years. I feel like you brought a new kind of comedy level to that part that hadn't really been seen before. And I think she was so dry as a character at times in the way she reacted to things. Was that how you intended it to come across, I assume?
Yeah. I mean, I always try to find the humor in every character. I feel like that is like our shared humanity is humor. It's like the lens through which I try to see the world. And so with all of those characters, I mean, Cinderella and every character I play, I really try to find the moments of humor or quirkiness and especially because I do a lot of revivals. So it's sort of taking the and then she swooned out of it, you know, and trying to just be a modern woman within a period time frame. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was an intentional choice to sort of not play the period.
Yes, and play it as a kind of new take on the character.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, this was also the first Broadway show to ever be live streamed.
Yes.
Which was crazy. And you have spoken about the fact that you were quite sick during this. And were you sick during the broadcast?
I was pregnant. Wow. I was pregnant with my daughter, and I had very, very bad, it's called hyperemesis gravitas, which is like morning sickness, but all day, every day for the entirety of your pregnancy. So I would often get sick. And there was one scene where I got sick and just took a deep breath and a deep swallow and kept going.
Wow. That is a trooper. That is the show must go on.
Yeah. Yes.
Especially when it's live streamed, you really can't just be like, excuse me.
I have to leave. Yeah. No, it's
you had to carry on.
Yeah, I did.
And also you got to work with Gavin Creel as well, of course. Wonderful man. And I think there's been such an outpouring of love for him since his passing last year. And I mean, was he a joy to work with? Because that's what it seems like from what everyone says.
Yeah, I mean, Gavin was one of the first people I met in New York. I met him when I was 19. And, you know, Gavin was the brightest light in any room that you were in. And made you feel special and seen and cared for. And, you know, I was really, really sick during that show, and he would come into my dressing room and I would have all the lights off and just have my head on my dressing table. And he would just like pet my back and he'd say, do you want me to make you laugh, or do you want me to stay here with you, or do you want me to leave you alone? And, you know, he just like he was the most vibrant.
And so talented as well. I mean,
that voice.
To have that amount of kindness, but also to have that amount of talent, it's just a gift, a proper gift. And I think, it just showed with the amount of beautiful kind of outpourings about him after he passed. I think it's just a testament to him as a person.
Yeah, he was always too good for this place. You know, he really was.
Well, talking of all your roles, you've done funny, you've done dramatic, you've done plays, you've done musicals, and to be able to do comedic roles and dramatic roles, but also to be able to sing the way you do. I mean, that is quite impressive, I have to say. Not everyone has
Thank
that
you.
skill. And
I
I think
appreciate it.
it is amazing to be able to do that. And in your most recent Broadway credit, your last full role on Broadway, I felt like that was a good culmination of it all because you got to do Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady. And I know this was a dream role of yours
Yes.
that you spoke about for a long time, and that
Yes.
you were you asked to audition for it initially, or did it come?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right after my daughter was born,
Hmm.
she was like 5 months old, and they asked me to audition and sent me like 50 pages worth of material. And it just sat there and sat there and finally I called Bart Scher, the director who had directed Women
Hmm.
on the Verge, and I was like, "Look, I want to do this more than anything, but if I can't get it together to audition, I would never be able to play this part. I wouldn't be able to be Ella's mom and Eliza Doolittle at the same time." And he was like, "I totally get it." And then they hired Lauren Ambrose, who did a beautiful job. And then she left early to go do a television show. And then they called and they offered me to replace her, which was amazing because at that point, my daughter was, like by the time they had cast it and rehearsed and been running, she was almost 2.
Oh,
So
okay.
we both were in a very different place. I had a
Hmm.
better handle on being a mom.
Hmm.
We had childcare. Um, and in a way, it was amazing because she didn't go to school. So I got to be with her during the day, except for matinee days. And my husband would bring her to the theater in between shows on matinee days, and she would have tea with Rosemary Harris.
Oh, lucky,
They were best
honestly.
friends. If when you
Oh,
eh, when you asked 2-year-old Ella who her best friend was, she would say Rosemary. I
that's
know.
so sweet.
She would walk Rosemary. She would go, "It's time for your nap." And then she would walk Rosemary to her dressing room and cover her and then stand outside her door like a tiny, like bouncer, like shushing people. It was
Please
amazing.
let Rosemary sleep.
Please. Yeah.
But I mean, amazing for you to be able to play that part.
Oh my
And
God.
also to be able
Yes.
to record the songs as well, which doesn't
I
often happen.
couldn't believe they did that. When
That
they
is so
said
lovely.
it was unbelievable. I mean, honestly, that whole time was such a gift.
Hmm.
And also a lesson in letting go because I really mourned because that was my number one dream role for my
Hmm.
entire life. And then I made the decision not to like throw my hat in the ring to fight for it. And and then I did Meteor Shower, the Steve Martin show with
Yes.
Amy Schumer
Hmm.
and Keegan Michael Key and Jeremy Shimos. I did that instead, which was the perfect play for a new mom. It was 75 minutes and
Lovely.
it was
My
75
kind
minute
of show.
play. Yeah, it was amazing. It
Oh,
was the whole show was
lovely.
shorter than the first act of My Fair Lady. So, but I'd really truly been like released it. I mourned it. I released it. I didn't feel like any anger toward Lauren. Like I didn't feel like weird, jealous anger. Like I didn't feel any of that.
Okay.
And to me, it was like the universe was like, "Okay, well, now here you go. Good job. You handled that
Hmm.
like a grown up. And now
I
we're
love
going to give
that.
you this opportunity." And so then I got to have my daughter there and my husband there and play this role that I'd always wanted to play my whole life amongst this incredible company of actors.
Hmm.
And that was like the last thing that was right before COVID.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it would have been just
Yeah.
before, wasn't it, really?
Yeah. Hmm.
I mean, what a part to kind of just be able to, I mean, an iconic role as well, another iconic role
Oh,
that you
oh
got
my
to play.
God.
Just the dream, the dream.
The dream.
Absolutely.
I know.
Let's talk, obviously, we talked a lot about your theatre career, but let's talk a little bit about TV and film as well,
Okay.
because you've done a fair amount, to be fair, as well. I don't know how you've squeezed it all in. I'm quite impressed.
Yeah, I've done a lot. I really have. I've done a lot of TV. And I've done some movies,
I think
and
more
I've
so
really enjoyed
recently
it.
movies.
Yeah, more so recently,
Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
Um, but a lot of TV. And I've some stuff that I've really loved. But nothing that I feel like has really shown the breadth of my ability in the way
Hmm.
that theater does. Certainly like I'm proud of my performances in most of them. Like Younger was really fun. I loved playing that
Yes.
character. I
Hmm.
loved The Gilded Age. I loved doing that. I loved that film
Hmm.
Worth that I did with Michael Keaton. I thought that was
Hmm.
such a beautiful film. And I had fun. I had fun on Nashville and Supergirl. Like, the shows I've done, I feel really happy with and good about. And also I've not done something that I feel like would make people go like, ah, that's what she does. Certainly playing Melania is really fun, although I'm devastated that I have to keep doing it.
That was my next question was going to be, I mean, great that you're brilliant at it, but in a way, quite a sad thing that you still have to do it.
I mean, what are we doing here? Like, I'm mortified. I'm just sorry. Like, on behalf of America, I apologize. It's a true emergency. We're in an
Hmm.
emergency that was created by, not even half of our country. That's the thing that's so challenging is so many Americans didn't vote,
It's
including
crazy.
including liberals and Democrats who didn't show up to vote. And so more people didn't vote for him this time, just less people voted for Kamala. And then most people didn't vote at all. I mean, it's just insane to me. And
It
now,
blows my mind as well. In a situation like that, you think that everybody who could vote would want to vote and try and suppress this thing from happening, but people didn't. And I think that's the
no,
frustrating part,
yes,
especially from an outsider's point of view, from another
yes,
country.
yes.
It blows my mind, frankly. But
It's,
yeah,
we've had a nice run, America, and now we're coming to an end. And that's genuinely what it feels like. I really feel
hmm
like we are entering like Civil War type. I feel like
hmm
we're getting there. And my
hmm
side doesn't have guns, and that's scary. We have
yes, that's true.
musicals. We have
Yes,
musicals
just sing at them and see what it does.
but they are just fully disappearing people. Masked men with no badges are pulling people off the streets and into unmarked vans and sending them to Alligator Alcatraz.
It's like
It's
a film.
real,
It's
right?
bizarre.
But it's real. And the
It's actually happening.
powerlessness that I feel is beyond, I just can't, honestly, I don't want to come back. I don't.
Well,
I
you know what? You can always come here.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like one of the reasons I'm Edinburgh is like a bucket list for me to
Of course.
perform at the Fringe Festival's bucket list,
Hmm.
to perform in London bucket list. And also I'm like, maybe this is my ticket. Maybe
Maybe it
this is my
is.
Willy Wonka
Maybe.
ticket
To come and
out.
live over here.
Yes. And I'm not lying. I'm not even kidding.
No, and I can tell you the West End will welcome you with open arms
Great.
as well. I can tell you that.
Perfect.
Great. We'll get you
I'm
in those
in.
rooms now.
Done.
Great. Wonderful.
Mm,
I'll get that house sorted.
please.
But also, back to kind of talking about TV, I just
Yeah.
also want to talk about, kind of linked to Trump in a way, Sound of Music Live. So
Yes.
this obviously was a live broadcast of the show that happened in 2013, around that time anyway.
Yes.
Um,
2013.
and you played the Baroness, obviously alongside some fantastic Broadway performers like Audra and Christian Ball, and just a great kind of plethora of Broadway actors.
Yeah.
And obviously the Maria in that production, Carrie Underwood, very recently sung at Trump's inauguration, which,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you have some thoughts and feelings about that. And I just think it's interesting because I feel like she's become more like the Baroness than Maria.
I know. I feel sad about her because
Hmm.
she was a sweetheart and a hard worker.
Hmm.
And I feel like she didn't get a fair shake. I feel like people were pretty mean to her online.
Hmm.
Um, I think had she had like 2 more weeks with an acting coach, I think she really would have gotten to a place, an even better place than she was in. And I think she did a really good job.
Hmm.
I think she's got a really good heart. I think she's a really good-hearted girl, I
Hmm.
don't think she wants to hurt anybody.
No.
And also, I think our very the entertainment news that has taken over our culture means that we're not all operating from the same facts. And I put facts in quotes.
Yes.
So, if you're only watching Fox News or, on conservative Twitter or
Yes.
Instagram or TikTok, you are going to think the world is very different. And one could say the same about me. Actually, it's one of the reasons why I read BBC News, because you don't have a stake in this game. You guys are just like, here's what's happening. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
And the editorializing of all of our news and the proliferation of lies, frankly,
Yes.
on our social media, I think it puts people at risk of aligning themselves with a administration that doesn't care about them. I think it's like why white women have stayed with the patriarchy for so long, because we think they're going to care for us when really they just want to throw us out the window.
Hmm.
And so I think that these very powerful oligarchs manage to convince people that they are there for them and they're not. And
I
so
see.
I
Yeah.
I think that I think a lot of the American people have been tricked.
Yes. And kind of fallen
Um,
down a rabbit hole that they can't
yeah,
get out of.
yes, and it's hard to say I'm wrong. It's hard to say I was wrong and I shouldn't have voted that way. It's much easier to just keep watching what you watch to begin with and stick to those facts and, dig your feet in and double down. It's much easier to do that than to say, wow, I really made a mistake and let me help fix it.
Yeah. I think that sometimes it happens to people who are, as you say, fundamentally good people,
Yes.
but they just get trapped in this kind of area of news and people around them that are not necessarily stating the facts that are the actual facts. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
And then what becomes difficult is because I have family members who I love who voted for him. I still love them. And
Hmm.
also, they voted to hurt people that I love a lot. And that's where, this isn't just like fiscal conservatism. This isn't just like Democrats and Republicans. This is for me like right and wrong. This is for me like
Agreed. Yes.
good and evil. And
Hmm.
like that's hard for me to
And I
wrap
do
my
think
brain
that's
around.
how the rest of the world majority does see that as
Yes.
well. I think they see it like that. I
Yes.
mean, I certainly
Yes.
do, and I know
Yes.
majority of UK people do. So it is,
Yeah.
it's interesting. I think
Yeah.
from just it's. I mean, fascinating. I think is the wrong word, but I think you know what I mean. It's just like
No, it
doesn't
is.
feel real sometimes. I
No,
think with the way it pans out,
I
but.
know.
There is a positive here because you are coming to the UK. You
I
are escaping
am.
for
I'm
a little bit
escaping
anyway,
for six
which
weeks.
I know. How exciting. So you are doing your show, Nobody Cares, at the Edinburgh Fringe from the
Yes.
30th of July to the 24th of August.
Yes.
And I loved this. I listened to it. Obviously, it started life as an Audible show, an Audible production, and I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. I really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
Thank you.
And for those who don't know what it's about, would you want to explain kind of the premise of what to
Yes.
expect?
So it's called Laura Benanti, Nobody Cares. And actually, since I recorded it live at the Minetta Lane, I've now trimmed almost 15 minutes off of it. The ending is
Oh, okay.
different. And there's a new song, a
Oh,
comedy
nice.
song called Good Men. And I'm really feeling good about it. I feel like my show like got a tan and like lost 10 pounds. I think you guys call that a stone, right? You call it a stone?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like she's got a tan and she dropped a stone. Um, but essentially it's like an autobiographical one woman comedy show with original comedy music written by myself and Todd Almond, who had his show called I'm Almost There at the Fringe last summer. It was a big hit for
Oh,
him.
okay.
Um, and it is just sort of like a romp through my life, starting at 18 years old, through my career, through my life, through my three marriages, through childbirth, through child raising. I talk a lot about being a recovering people pleaser and how, in some ways, playing ingenues for so long kept me in that like infantilized space
Hmm.
of always needing everybody to like me all of the time. And now I'm like coming around to the other side of that. I've had children. Now I'm going through like perimenopause and aging as a woman, aging as an actress. What does that mean? and how you really do start to realize that so many of the things that we, or I should say, worry about, like nobody cares. You know what I mean? It's a
Nobody cares.
multi-pronged it's a multi-pronged title in that I was commissioned to write this. I didn't choose to write this on my own. Audible
I
came
was
to
going to
me and said,
say,
"Do you want to
oh,
write
did they?
it?"
Oh, okay.
And
That's nice though.
it was so nice, but I was
I
like, "Who
mean,
cares what I think? Nobody cares." Like as I was writing it, I was like,
uh-huh.
"Ugh, nobody cares." And then I thought, "Okay." And then as I was writing it, I realized, like, God, I used to really worry about so much stuff. Nobody cares. Um, so yeah, I think it's really funny. I will say that I have won over many a husband and boyfriend who did not want to be there, who told me afterwards that they were dragged there against their will, and then they said it was one of the funniest things they've ever seen. So that made me feel really good.
I mean, that is a good review. Do you know what
That's
I
the
mean? That is
highest
a very
compliment you
good
can
review.
get. Yeah,
I mean, it is, I will back you up. It is very funny. And I think
thank you. It's even
also,
funnier now.
oh, I can't wait. But even, I think being able to showcase your comedy skills and your singing skills and do everything in one fairly short show is
Yeah,
amazing. Just to be able to kind of go through that at quite a quick pace
yeah.
and have that audience interaction and all of that. It's just, I think it works so well, and I think it will
Thank
do
you.
very well at the Edinburgh Fringe. I think it'll
I
be fun.
hope
I think you'll
so.
have a good time. I've never been. I've never been to the Fringe, and I might come this year. I'm not sure,
Woo!
but you are coming to London
I
in
am.
September.
Yep, September 2nd.
I will have to come. I will have to come.
Yes.
It'll be lovely, and then I can see you in person.
Yes. Well, you have to tell me when you're coming because I want to see you afterwards.
Yes, of course,
Yeah.
I will do. But yeah, so hopefully I'll get to see that. But when are you coming over, and how are you staying just for the Fringe, then going back, or still to
Yes.
London?
So I leave on the 26th and I get
Hmm.
to the Fringe on the 27th. And then I perform from, like, I think you said the 30th to the 24th. Then I go to London. And then I am going to be there for a little bit and then do my shows on September 2nd, September 2 at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. at the Underbelly Boulevard.
So exciting!
I'm really, really excited. I'm
It'll
thrilled.
be
This
great.
this for me feels like the culmination of what I love to do and I think what I do best.
Hmm.
And for me, this is like getting to do this show that I wrote feels really gratifying. It really does. And I'm excited for people to see it.
I'm excited. I think it's great to bring it to a UK audience as well, because you don't know
Me
how they're
too.
gonna
I know I'm
react. It'll be
nervous.
interesting.
I'm a little
But
nervous
they'll be
about that.
fine. They'll be fine. I
Yeah.
feel, but obviously, yeah, I think it'll be quite different from a New York audience. It'll be interesting to see the
How
difference
do you
there.
think they'll be different?
I think, I think UK audiences are a lot more. I think if you compare, let's say, West End and
Yeah.
Broadway audiences are a lot more receptive, I think, vocally throughout a show. They
Yeah.
are more likely to give a standing ovation, they're more likely to cheer and all that kind of stuff. And then I
Yeah.
feel in the West End, everyone's a little bit more subdued. I mean, less so now. I think in recent years, that Broadway aspect has come into UK audiences, but I think everyone's a
Yeah.
little bit more reserved and going, well, we'll judge it first. We'll give it a bit, and then we'll
Oh
see how we're going to
God.
react.
Oh no.
But you've got to remember, it's a comedy audience probably as well that you're going to have, so they'll
Yes.
be expecting to laugh. Yeah, I think it is a
I hope
different.
so.
They will laugh. I can tell you that. That's one thing. That is a given. They will laugh. Don't
They
stress too
better.
much.
They
They
better.
better. That is the point. But
Yeah.
yes. Before I let you go,
Yes.
I've got to ask:
Yes.
is there any roles that you have yet to do that you want to do? I know that you spoke on Twitter in 2019. I've got the receipts here. You atted Kelly O'Hara and you said, "Do you want to do Follies together in 2034?" Any updates on that revival, or are we
You know what?
still waiting?
I have to ask her. I would love to do. I'm going to text her actually, a reminder of that.
Please do. Please do.
I would love to do that. I would love to do Follies, but I also want to
Hmm.
do a little night music.
But
I
you
just
could
want to
do it
sing
in
Send in the
LA.
Clowns. Yeah,
Yeah.
I played Anne. I played Anne. I want to play Desiree.
Hmm. That's a nice part. I mean, and
Yeah.
again, Sondheim, just glorious. Well, thank you
Obviously.
very much.
Thank
for
you.
having me. I've had you.
Yes, you're welcome
podcast.
for having you on my podcast. It's my podcast now. Yep.
You can take it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on. It's been lovely to have a chat about your career and all the wonderful things you've done. And hopefully I will see you at the Fringe or in London. It'll be wonderful, I'm sure. But yes,
keep me posted. Let me know.
I will do.
Mm-hmm.